by Eric in the last year and change. And Bob and Neil play a 2-over-1 system with lots of strange transfers. Trust me. So we're gonna enjoy ourselves, and we hope you enjoy us as well.
And the beauty of this broadcast is no matter what kind of weirdness they get into system wise, we actually get their exact comments on what their bids are going to be. So there shouldn't be too much confusion unless between their own partnerships. So and it looks like they are in 3-no Trump as the South player. And this looks like it's going to be interesting. They've started to knock out the club entry right away here.
Well, because spades are 4-2 and the 10 is not coming down, this is going to be a difficult hand to make. Now, the 9 of hearts is a key spot card.
That's
So
interesting.
if for the declare, if Rabo ends up playing on hearts, he can pick up the hearts for one loser
Well, if he plays a
because
heart
the
to the
9 is
king.
going to come down. So the question is, how does he maximize his chances? And we're about to see. So fasten your seatbelts.
And this is it's a 15-imp swing, but honestly, from the bridge we've been watching all day, these can get super tight and go any way on a hand or two. So everything's within reach here.
This could potentially be a swing because as we look at the two hands, we can see that 4 spades would make the heart finesse is on side and the diamond finesse is on side. So, in theory, if you were playing this hand in spades, you would lose 2 spades and 1 diamond for a relatively straightforward uh, gain. So
In
we'll
fact,
see.
the other table is actually playing 2 spades at the moment.
Playing
Is
2 spades.
Yep, that's their final contract.
Okay.
It's
Well,
possible that South, who has Queen Jack 9 to 6 spades and the Ace King of clubs, opened a weak two, perhaps a constructive weak two.
That's exactly what the auction was. It was pass 2 spades, all pass at the other table.
What
that's a matter of style. I mean, not vulnerable, that seems very reasonable, but non-vulnerable, I'd be a little
I don't know.
reluctant.
I think in any colors I would just open that hand of spade. It just feels wrong to
Yeah.
open it 2 spades. But yeah, you're right. It's a complete style issue, right? And it is second chair, right? Equal. So you are kind of supposed to be pretty disciplined in that spot, right, guys?
Well, I'm not sure whether you're supposed to be disciplined translates to actually being disciplined, Rob.
Very fair point. Thank you very much.
You
And
know,
there is,
I grew up, sorry, you go,
well,
Mitch.
go ahead, Sartan.
Well, I grew up reading, the magazines like The Bridge World and doing all of this stuff about being sound in second seat, preempting, and all of that. And then you play a bit of bridge and you watch what all the other top players are doing, and then you soon start getting some bad habits yourself.
Yep.
That's kind of what ended up being my path. I'm still a bit more conservative than the others, but I feel like in general, at the elite levels, the trend pretty much is if you have a 6 card suit, just go ahead and open it something. Don't pass, basically.
Right, right.
That's just my feeling.
We saw an interesting one where the last set where it was basically you're either opening 1 or 4 spades, and that was just pretty much the standard all around. It's hands like that are evaluating in interesting ways. So he just plays a spade to the king here. Now what?
Neil Chambers made a very interesting play by ducking the king of spades, and this could prove to be pretty thorny
Yeah.
for Clear.
Is he just
Yeah,
gonna
but he did
play?
it. It's all about the 10 of spades, isn't it? From East's point of view, if declared spades a queen, jack, 10, 9, 6, he has to duck.
You're
So,
right, but the counterplay on this hand
oh,
is he
wow.
played the
He's found
queen,
it. He's done it. Wow. Amazing. I
and he
think, isn't
also
it?
could have played a small heart. That would have
Oh, no,
worked.
it's not. Sorry. It's not amazing. Yeah. Yeah.
Now a small heart would have been pretty well. Anyway, we'll see.
All right,
So
he's hoping for tricks and hearts now. You know, spades is just
he was
not
hoping for
happening.
Jack 9 Doubleton heart rather
Yeah,
than
he
King 9
exactly
Doubleton
played
heart.
for
And
Doubleton honor in a different way.
if Bob Hammond as West had Jack 9 Doubleton, then Eric Rodwell had pretty much found the winning play.
Yep. And as you can see, two
As
spades
it
made
is
3 over
now,
tricks at the other table. So
he's going to lose three clubs and two hearts and score three hearts, a diamond, a spade, and two clubs. Maybe he loses one more trick. Yeah, and a spade at the end.
Well, that was a good jump off here.
Oh,
Two spades in one room, 3-0 in the other. All right. We like to see some excitement. Imps flying all over the place.
and I think Neil Chambers really won this board. If he knows his partner has the ten of spades, which of course he doesn't know, then if he won the spade, then when Rodwell gets in with the second club, he could run the spades, get the bad news, and play a heart to the queen, and then the ace and
And
lose a heart.
now he solves hearts in that way rather than, the.
Yeah, but he'd still be losing a bunch of tricks there when the smoke
Now you
clears.
still lose three clubs, a spade, and a heart.
Only, yeah. What's down one? Down one is good rich, right?
That's what they're that's what they're going to be if he just puts the queen in here, right? So, by the way, occasionally, if the play is slow, they might just
Well,
hesitate on a player,
so
gentlemen. Just so it might not be him thinking; it might just be
so
like,
the thing to consider why
oh, there
Rodwell
it
did
goes.
not finish the diamond is because he thought that Hammond could have cashed the ace of spades either in his hand or partner's hand for down two. And the diamond play was a play to make only if East had the diamond king for down three. So Rodwell played for legitimate number of tricks, paying Bob Hammond a great compliment.
And there's some elements of poker in these situations too.
We were talking a lot about that earlier as well. Just kind of ranges of hands and also percentages of times you do certain things versus others.
I think
So
Hammond just made a mistake. I think the summary of that situation was Hammond could have just played a spade and taken it down two, but he had a blind spot and thought Declare had the ace of spades. And Rodwell was not prepared to play for Hammond to have made a mistake. I think that's what it comes down to.
So it wasn't quite a
Don't you think?
Grosvenor, but it was like,
Yeah, I think it was just an error, and Rodwell didn't believe Hammond would make an error.
so this is interesting.
That's my read of it, but I don't know. What do you guys think? You think
I think you're right. I mean, the bottom line is Declare probably would have cashed a spade earlier if he had the ace of spades, which sort of marks East with the ace of spades. So we both have mud in our face for picking on the legendary Bob Hammond, but I happen to agree with you.
yeah.
So North South's going to find their spade fit here, but what is East going to do when it ships back to him? It's going to go redouble, check, check.
Well, it is a precision one diamond showing two or more, so I don't, I think that chances are we're going to hear from East some more,
Yeah.
unless he didn't have Wheaties for his breakfast.
Ooh, lefty. Bob just in there with two hearts. This is actually, well, whatever. This doesn't necessarily, this is just a minimum anyway. Sorry. When the redouble hits, right? This is just, okay, this is my preference. That's it. North going to be in here, right?
Well, North is 5-5. He's vulnerable, but he certainly wants to. He's certainly going to be bidding.
Yeah. And the question is how excited is Neil still?
And now Neil has an interesting choice of plays because his partner didn't have a gun to his head, freely bid hearts, and Neil makes what the bid I would have made, so it must be wrong. He bids two no trump.
Got three
Which we
diamonds
can
now,
see.
though.
We can see that no trump is not going to be a happy contract for East West if they end up buying the hand.
I know,
And
he
Bob,
just bails out, yeah.
Bob is naturally tucking his tail between his legs and retreating to three hearts.
What would you guys play three diamonds as there, two no trump? Would you have some sort of system for that, or would that just be, okay, I'm offering again?
Oh, three diamonds by.
By Bob here after two no.
I think it's forward going. I mean, I think
Got it.
the weakest bid he can make is rebidding hearts, or of
Understood.
course passing two no. Sartaj? What do you think?
So we have a rule for these situations, which is that if someone has bid a suit, then you no longer transfer. So if Bob had passed and East had bid two no trump, then three diamonds would just be a transfer to hearts. But given that Bob's already bid hearts, I think I agree with you, Mitch, that three diamonds would be a forward going hand.
Got it.
Three hearts sounds non forcing, probably with five hearts.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it seems weird that he would be forward going on this auction, right? From Neil's
Well,
perspective.
well, there's another possibility. If Bob had bid three diamonds on this hand with these tickets, he possibly could be suggesting to his partner to go to the partnership desk and get a new partner.
Well,
Yeah, but
you're
this
gonna
is
play
where
game.
partnerships come into play. An established partnership would have an agreement here, but I suspect Hammond and Neil Chambers haven't played as many hands together.
Sure.
And
Other
This
room
is
is three diamonds down one, by the way. So this is
so there's an
another
opportunity to
opportunity
double
for
four
some.
hearts. Yep, he's
There it
taken
is.
it.
Hard to blame him, right? Ace King 10 fourth and Ace of Clubs.
well, if he doesn't double four hearts, he should find a new hobby.
His part. There's going to be more than one person at the partnership desk lining up, Mitch.
Yeah, yeah.
So going to be a reasonably big score here. It looks like they're going to get. He's going to get three hearts, a club, a spade, at least. Right down two.
So let's look at this auction and say, did Neil make a mistake? What does he need from his partner in order to make four hearts? And on a hand with ace fifth or king fifth of hearts, it would basically hinge on the ace of spades being on side. So it doesn't seem like his bid is outrageous, and yet it's going to be kind of brutal.
Yeah, and he's not buying anything at all from Dummy except another wasted. I mean, even the Jack of Clubs is wasted on the sand to add insult to injury,
The
and
question,
and the Queen.
this is such an interesting issue whether or not someone with a five card suit and no high cards should be bidding two hearts when they're not vulnerable. They certainly wouldn't bid it if they were vulnerable, but non-vulnerable, we're always trying to push the opponents around, and that often is really successful. But here it didn't pay off.
So I guess you're implying, Mitch, that over the redouble with a hand with no points should just pass as West, and then
I,
East would bid something, and then West can bid two hearts later. Is that what
that's
you're?
what well, that's what I'm saying. But I will also say, Sartaj, like you, I tend to be a little bit more conservative in my partnerships than my regular partners, and so for me, if I bid two hearts with this hand with two of my regular partners, that's like putting a red flag in front of a bull.
Yeah,
So,
right.
but it's a partnership style thing, as you referred
Sure.
to earlier.
Yeah.
If you never play, for example, I've had discussions with Joe Grew and Brad Moss about these kinds of things,
Right.
and they're in there on every hand, and nothing means anything, and but they're not going to get punished. I'm not. They
Well,
might get a
there's
bid. They
something to
might.
be said to getting in there and taking that good preference that you're likely just eight hearts minimum, and you've kind of shown your hand in that way, maybe.
Without beating a dead horse, one final comment about this that I don't like is I really don't want to get partner off to a heart lead. I mean, if you
Yeah,
gave
good
me
point.
king fifth or queen fifth of hearts or something like that, I think it has a lot more going for it. But there's no reason when you have West's hand to believe that you're not going to be defending because you don't have the boss suit, you don't have any high cards, and I really don't want partner leading a heart away from the king.
Yeah, and to go back to your point about evaluating Neil's hand, if he's picturing a heart on her over there, like king empty fifth and out, I mean that's and something else over there. That's not the worst game, right? Looking at his hand, if I remember
Back
correctly.
to the play. I think this is heading for down three because Rodwell can win this heart and play a club, and he has the threat of playing another club when he wins the next heart. And I don't think the player can
Yeah, because this sluff and rough is giving no no benefit at
avoid.
all,
Yeah,
and now
double
he's
dummy,
roughing diamonds.
double dummy. East had to cash the high club, two high diamonds, and then it's sort of like a Dennis Coup kind of situation. It sure is easy for us looking at all four
We
hands.
yeah we You know what? We should
But
find a way to hide the hands and have at least one quiz hand for us in the audience. You know how like they do in poker. What would you do in this situation? Maybe we can find a way to sweat some hands that way. But I see this is not going to be.
Well, he has the 10 of diamonds entry.
oh, he has misdefended, hasn't
Yeah.
he? Now
Now
declared
it's
has
done.
control all of a
Just two.
sudden. Right. Oh, I see your point though, Mitch. He was playing partner to have the 10 of diamonds and thought declarer would never be able to pull his trump. But if he had played a club, could that have cost? Isn't that the same?
I think
Oh no,
a
it could
club
have
can,
If he
cost.
plays a club, he's in his hand.
No,
I
no,
think
I see.
a club can never be wrong here, in
Right.
my opinion.
No, so no, it could be wrong. If declarer shape is 2533, then you play a club, declarer wins, cashes two diamonds, and comes out a heart, and you are end played into giving access to his jack of clubs, and your trump gets drawn. So that's what Rodwell's problem
Ah,
was.
okay. All right. You know what,
He,
uh, Rob? It's clear that Sartaj has had his morning coffee, and you and I need to play our cards. Okay?
Yeah, yeah.
no,
Well,
no,
think
I
about me.
mean,
I'm
No, no,
almost on
you're
the East
absolutely
Coast here.
no, Sartaj. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
look, I can say that I make lots of poor plays. We all make poor plays, but I feel like they're the top, 10, 15, maybe 10 players, maybe even less in the world. Whenever they make a play, they are playing for some layout. Now, it may not be the layout. So I was quite surprised that Rodwell made some play that was catering to no layout. So I was just backing my respect for him, I suppose.
Later
Uh,
in the week, you'll start to see fatigue as a factor, but since
yeah,
today, you wouldn't expect that.
yeah, that's true. Actually, that also happens. So the outcome of that hand was at 300, and so the Hammond team is still in the lead. Where
At
did
the
they
other
win all
table,
these
they
in?
played two spades.
Yeah, two spades down two. No, this is there. We're looking at this table, and that is board's 48 results
Oh,
from before. Do you guys want to sweat the result from that last board? You want to take another look at it?
let's take a look and see what the auction was at
Sure.
the other table.
Let's take a look.
So
So there's our scorecard, and it was this board right here, board 47, correct?
okay,
Yeah.
so
There it is. One no. Interesting. What is that? Sorry, from the South player. They
I
play
think
like a
it's
13
12
to
to
16.
14. I think Adam and Doug, they play a weak no trump.
Yep, there it
right,
is. Transfer and then three diamonds, all check. Joel,
okay.
happy to get the heck out of there, right? All right, let's get out of the scorecard. Let's get back to the live action, and let's make sure we're back to the live action.
Now let's look at one more table, shall we? On that last hand, I want to see. I'm just curious because they play
Right.
KS. Very few people play. I just like let's look at one other
You
expert pair
you
and
want to
see what.
look at yeah? Let's frequency it up. Let's see what happened on board. It was board two of the segment, board 47, correct? This
Right.
one. Yep.
And
So here's our frequency.
so let's look at the table. There's a couple people that got to three hearts.
Let's take a
let's
look right here. How about that?
yeah, go ahead.
This is Vince and John and Philip and Nicole. And
Okay.
not showing you the whole auction. Let's get that. One club by South. Pass a spade, double, redouble. Pass now. Kind of the same start we had, right? Except no two heart
Well,
bid.
No,
But
yeah,
the,
except for
the
the two.
interesting thing about this table's auction on this hand is this is exactly the way Sartaj described he would play in his partnerships, where West passes, East bids 2-0. Now West has a comfortable transfer, and that ends the auction.
Yeah, and now you get to bail out when you know you have like nothing
Yeah.
helpful for partner here, even when they
Right.
bid.
And this hand, I guess West subscribes to your point of view, Mitch, that you should pass over the redouble. Let's have a look at some other tables.
Yeah, sure. Let's go back and see what else happened here. You want to look at more of that three heart action, or you want to look at some of the other stuff here? There's the result at
we
our
did-
table, four hearts.
we just want to see similar auctions like
Let's quickly look at tables 1 and 2.
Yeah, let's
yeah,
look right here.
that's a good idea.
All right, here we go. Diamond double redouble. Here's a two heart entry,
So
and
you
then
see if
a
it's
back
two
off.
hearts and
Yep, a back off after three hearts by East. Dan just kind of just says, okay. If Z is not willing to go past three hearts, I guess I can't do anything.
yeah, like they did well.
Yeah, let's
They
take
did
a
very
look.
well.
You want to look at this three heart or this three spade here? How about this one? This is Joe and Brad, and this is north south just bidding to the three spade level.
Also with two hearts.
We've got the same thing.
Yep.
Now, I made the comment earlier that Brad and Joe bid on nothing, but here I was wrong because Brad did not bid two hearts freely. And now again, the auction
No,
goes.
Brad did bid two hearts freely.
Oh, he did. I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah, he bid two hearts and
Yeah,
then
he
three
did.
diamonds, just like our table, and then it went three spades, all pass after that. So
Okay, but
I
the
was
hand
wondering
he
about that.
made diamonds with Sartaj and I made the comment this should show some values, but apparently it doesn't show values in their partnership because now
Maybe
Joe.
they Sartaj,
I think
would you agree? Sometimes some people would play like two hearts initially is just I'm still like zero to barely anything and taking a preference right away, or
Yeah, definitely. For me, that's what would apply in my partnership. I would bid two hearts with a West hand.
right, same.
But it's just a way of playing. And
Exactly, it's the way you agree how to handle this situation, and you can
but
see.
here to answer Mitch your point, I think South opened a club. That's why West bid three diamonds here.
Oh,
That
I see.
is, yep,
Yeah,
there it
yeah.
is.
He was
All
just
right.
trying to show a weak hand. Yeah.
Got it.
Okay, now I understand.
Yeah.
All right, let's go back to our feature match and see what's happening there.
Yeah, we will get back there shortly. It's about 78 back buttons, and here we are playing a comfy two spades by North, where the other table was down two, same contract, same place. And I think we can see why here. East is getting at least two more spades on this. We need some fireworks, guys. We need some slam decisions to get right or wrong. And don't forget, folks, you're watching on YouTube, you're watching on Twitch. Don't forget to say hello.
And can our audience ask us questions? We sometimes have that in.
Yep, I have two streams going, and we have questions available from both of them. And the people have been dropping in
Okay.
once in a while and saying hi. I think we had maybe a little problem with Twitch starting off, but we're back on there. So don't be shy out there, folks. Sartaj got up at 9 a.m. his time to come to this broadcast. So
I have two young children. I told them, guys, you got to get ready quickly to this morning by yourself because I've got to drop you off, get to work,
well,
and
I
then do bridge commentaries.
I really appreciate it, and we're gonna have a very nice international flavor to I think this event too. We have some Swedes joining us later in the week, and we'll have a good time with a lot of the.
The American trials are it's one of the things I really look forward to because obviously you can't play in it being in Australia,
Yeah,
but it's one tournament, every year that it's a bit like the Bermuda Bowl. It's just so much fun watching.
because there's so
Watching
many
the
good
good
teams,
stuff,
especially at the
and
end.
also
It's
watching some of these big guys make some really, bad errors. So it's quite fun watching that happen, isn't it?
And wouldn't you say the curve of when those mistakes are happening is steepening the deeper we go? It's just that the exhaustion of this. I mean, Mitch, you played the World Championships last year. That's like even six-handed. That's a brutal assault on your brain matter.
It wasn't, frankly, one would think logically it was, but the fact is, since there were six people on our team, I didn't feel really emotionally drained until the very, very end. So
Got it.
I really admire the people who play four-handed.
I
I
can't.
really do.
Yeah, there were two teams that were playing four-handed that whole event. I was in awe of them. I just picture like a fighter that's punch drunk at the end of like 13 rounds back in the day.
Well, the one thing that Bob Hammond is known for, or he's known for many things, but one of them is he can take a punch better than anybody else. In his glorious career, he gets screwed on some hand or gets a bad result or makes a mistake, and then instead of thinking about the hand, he goes on to the next one, and
Short
that's
memory.
that just takes a lot of discipline to be that way.
It's a developable skill, but it's a painful thing to develop. it's
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, in theory, everyone should be that way because you can't
but
change what's already happened and
it's
all of that stuff.
it's an impossibility though, right? For pretty much anybody
That's
but an immortal person like Bob Hammond.
Yeah. And I think Declare could have discarded a heart just here and saved himself a trick.
Because then he can just play diamonds to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's just an error.
This doesn't seem to gain
Doug
anything. You
Simpson,
lost.
Doug Simpson has a skill that very few people are aware of. I mean, he's a nice guy. He's a fine player. He also happens to be a scratch golfer, which
No
frankly
kidding.
I hate him for that. But the last time I saw him, I was in the Nationals in Louisville. He wanted to give me a putting lesson. I was just afraid at some point he would wrap the putter around my neck when he saw how bad a putter I am. That didn't happen.
So what does a scratch golfer mean? Sorry, my
The scratch
language.
golfer is someone who on average, shoots even par.
Ah, I see.
Yeah.
Right. That's a seriously good player. Right.
Yeah, that's a player I could never ever be. So he's gonna play the Queen of Spades, cash a club, and that will be all she wrote, right?
Oh, I guess it comes
Down
to the
two.
same thing.
Yeah.
Right. You get the diamond trick instead. So
He gets to
probably his
shake a
play
heart.
didn't really matter.
Yeah.
Well, actually, if yeah. Anyway,
All right. Well, now we have the perfect situation, guys. We're at our feature table. The other table's ahead of us by like a board or two. So we're gonna get to sweat a little bit of the action that's coming in front of us. And we can also, if this match gets a little bit more out of hand, maybe we'll switch to a different match. But right now, I think we're having a good time here.
yeah, that's fine. And I do like the fact that this table, one pair is playing precision, the other is playing a 2-over-1 approach. So,
For sure.
um, but anyway, we can monitor this and switch whenever you guys like.
Ooh, wait. This is the definition apparently coming from Twitch. A scratch golfer average is closer to 75. I don't know what that
Okay.
means. But I know the
Well,
Rimsteads are also scratch golfers.
I don't like them either for that reason. I also
They're
shoot, I
also good
also
looking.
shoot,
It's terrible. They
yeah,
get it all.
I also shoot 75, but then I'm usually walking off the course after 14 holes.
Really? You get
So
to 14?
just made that up.
Thank you, Daniel, for that update. All right. So,
Now it's interesting that Doug
interesting
Simpson
15 there.
chose to bid out of range. He did not bid a no trump with this hand.
Is that
The
because of
flop
King
of the
Queen Tight
double.
of Spades, guys, or no? Does that have
Yeah,
something to
I'm
do
sure
with it?
that has something to do with it.
Like downgrading to some degree?
Well,
You'll be interested to know that the chat has devolved into people posting their golf scores after 9 holes, 75.
all right. Well,
Look, I'm a big fan of opening one note trump with five card majors, but when you have a four card minor by the side, it's very dangerous to do so because
Well,
it
here's what.
takes a time.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, Sartash. I apologize.
I mean, the theory of it is that it takes time to develop that side four card suit and having, the security of a trump, the major being trumps, gives you more time to develop that suit. So, which is sort of the reason to avoid doing it very much with a five card major and a four card minor. But even when you're 5-3, 3-2, of course, we all freely open one no trump these days. There's very few people who open a major. So I suspect that might have something to do with his choice to open a heart.
Sure.
I'm really surprised by Hammond's pass over two hearts. I would bid two spades. What would you
Mitch?
guys? What do you guys think?
It seems pretty reasonable at these colors at this point, but I would defer to your expertise, gentlemen. Mitch? What do you think?
I would have been two spades with the West hand, but I would not have made a game try with the North hand. So I'm in.
Yeah,
I'm
I agree.
Is
Yeah,
that FOMO for not opening a no trump. They want to
Um,
evaluate more.
well, one of the things I try and when I'm playing with less experienced players, and we get on the topic of whether or not I should make a game try. If you give partner two perfect cards, is that
Yep.
enough for a game? Okay, and North has got a lot of slow stuff, and this to me it doesn't measure up to that. But in any case, it still could be right.
They stopped relatively low, but they're probably still going to go off one here. I mean, they're probably
I
going to
think they
lose to
go
the
down.
queen of
I think
clubs.
yeah, they're probably going to go down two.
I really like your suggested idea, Mitch. Give partner two sharp cards and see how you go. And from North's point of view, he gives partner the ace king of hearts and he's still losing a spade, a diamond, a club. And then there's a diamond finesse, a club finesse, a deep club. There are so many losers on this hand.
That's great.
And the other thing too here is this: they're bidding a non they're pursuing a non-vulnerable game, and if you get to a 35 or 40% game that's vulnerable, the risk reward suggests that's fine. But non-vulnerable game, the odds change, and so here I do like passes. I've already said.
Mm.
Yeah.
I just find it, especially getting back to the no trump conversation, I find it's pretty normal to open a heart with that hand because two clubs is such a very normal rebid and comfortable rebid. If you have like five minor, four major, and you're worried about it going, some sort of reverse being your option at the end, then I'm more likely to open an off shape no trump in those situations just because of ease of bidding.
But
Here,
there are other problems though, Rob. You open a heart, partner bids a no trump. What are you going to do? You bid two clubs, partner
right?
bids two hearts. He could have 9 points, 10 points over there.
And now your king queen of spades isn't looking too amazing either in that auction. So
And if you bid two no trump, partner passes in half a second, and then you're saying you're calling yourself an idiot for not having opened no trump. So
I,
you can see
I do
the
that for any
attraction of
reason.
one
Yeah,
round.
I'm very comfortable
Yeah.
calling myself an idiot at this game for sure.
Of course, the counter argument to that is a lot of expert partnerships would either play a Bart or Gazilli, which is a mechanism to sort
Yes.
out
Very
um,
good point.
the raises with the doubleton. So that would I'm not in favor of opening this hand in no trump.
No,
And
I wasn't suggesting that at all, but just like
I know you, but I'm
the
just saying that
the other way.
there are if it goes a hard and no trump, there are some mechanisms like Rob when you and I sit down and play with when you're old and gray. No, but seriously, we could play Bart or Gazilli or Sartaj, same thing. And there are methods we all have in our partnerships that can, take away some of the ambiguity created by playing standard approach to bridge.
It's funny. Junaid, I think is how I pronounce your name, and if I'm butchering that, I apologize. She was mentioning the same thing in the YouTube chat. If you have some sort of mechanism there, it's more of your style to do certain things.
So, would one of you mind giving our viewers a bit of a rundown on Bart, for example?
Mitch,
So,
fire away,
all
my
right.
friend.
So there's a number of ways to play it, and since I play with multiple people, the easiest way to play it would be, for example, let's say it goes a heart of no trump or a spade of no trump, two clubs. Over the two club rebid by opener, if responder rebids the major, that would typically be 8 to 10 high card points and a doubleton in the major. And if they instead make the intermediate bid, which might be a transfer, that's either, let's say, a heart of no trump, two clubs. If you bid two diamonds, you either have a weak hand with heart support, or you have a positive response in support of the minor, and you're going to show that at your next opportunity. So, for example, a heart, a no trump. I'm sorry if I put you guys to sleep. A heart, a no trump, two clubs. Now I'm the responder. I bid two diamonds. I either have a weak hand with hearts or a stronger raise in clubs. Let's say most simply, you bid two hearts,
And
and
now it's
now I either
pass.
pass with the weak hand. You always assume I have the weak hand. So if you bid two hearts, I can pass, or I can now bid something else, which would suggest clubs. Um, there's other nuances here. A heart of no trump, two clubs One could say if I bid two no trump, that would be the values for two no trump without a primary club fit if partner is a weak hand and wants to play hearts or clubs. But if I bid the two diamond transfer and now you bid two hearts and now I bid two no, that would say I have the values to bid two no trump and I have a club fit if you want to retreat to three clubs.
And
Right.
And if you want me to blather on more, I can.
well, I
talk
was just
about
going to say, and for any of you that are beginner intermediate players, and this is your first time watching bridge, feel free to forget everything that was just told to you, and we'll just like Bob Ham, we'll start fresh from that. But it gives you a lot of options, and that's why a lot of people play those agreements, right, Mitch? It gives you that room to explore different types of hands in that really kind of weird spot for a lot of hands.
Overall, I play with one of my partners. We play hardly any conventions, and it's seat of the pants bridge, which is pretty successful. But I think as you get in more and more in the expert level, you really have to refine your system to be able to compete at the highest level. And I would say this. So this convention that I just mentioned is probably 15% better than playing standard. But if you play this and one of you forgets what you're playing, it becomes a huge lose.
Yeah, right. It's
Yeah.
0% better.
And that happens, more often than it should.
So
People forgetting fairly simple or intricate
I was playing
agreements.
the other day with a casual partner, and we
There
play
went that
kick.
club finesse, by the way, for down one, as expected. There we go. Sorry,
I was
guys.
playing. I was playing with a casual partner the other day, and we didn't discuss much, but we agreed we were playing kickback. And and now I had a hand that wanted to play four spades after a takeout double, but I was too good to jump to four spades. So I cubed the opponent's suit. My partner bid hearts, and when I later bid spades, he thought it was key card for hearts.
Right.
This is a,
Yeah.
I mean, this is a good treatment, but let me tell you, going for 206 hearts did not win all the match points for six spades. Anyway,
Yeah, kickback in particular I feel it's a very dangerous convention.
Yeah.
In that, I've seen maybe five times more, disasters for kickback than any other convention. But of course, in the hands of a well experienced and partnership that's very well organized, it's a good tool.
And by that, Sartaj, I mean a partnership that's screwed up kickback together about 5 times, and then,
Yes,
and
that's
then
right.
finally have crossed the finish line of
Yeah,
understanding.
that reminds me, in my partnership with Tony Nunn, we used to play game force relay over one note trump. And we had a rule
Interesting.
that if we were in relay and three note trump was the step, it was still a relay, it was still an artificial bid and asking. And so, of course, the first time it came up, I forgot. The second time it came up, he forgot. Having had two disasters,
Now
we
you're
then
experts.
never forgot.
Yep, yep.
But yeah, that really
Three
fits
spades
what you said.
looks mixed here.
So-
They haven't popped in.
I
there yet,
lost
but
the
it looks
finals of I lost the finals of an event once where my partner and I had an agreement that 2-0, 3-0 was to transfer to clubs. And naturally, when I forgot that, a disaster followed, and this was like 13 imps that cost us winning. So
Yeah.
Oh, that's
you know,
painful.
all these things are great if your brain's like a computer, but we're human, and then disaster sometimes occurs.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a look at this hand.
Looks like an
spade.
easy 10 tricks here. Looks like three spades was mixed, right? Let's actually
Three
they've
spades-
alerted it now. Here we go.
Yeah, I'm sure
Yep,
it's a mix.
there it is.
So he has an easy four spade bid, and
2 spade losers in a club. It looks like.
well, if the colors were different, I'm sure Eric Rodwell would be bidding, but these colors aren't going to entice him.
Would you guys play three
So
hearts as
have-
mixed here, or would you just play? Do you like the three spades as mixed these days in general? Do you like options here? Do you like to have a preempt and a mixed, or?
I think a mixed. Sartaj, what do you think before I babble on?
Well, I usually play a strong club-based system, so it's not that important for us to have a mixed raise.
Okay.
So mixed raises to me are one of the single most important things that you can play. And if I was sitting down with someone and I only had 2 minutes to describe what we're playing, that would be on the card in almost all situations.
Good.
Because I
Yeah.
find when I play preemptive races, I sometimes push the opponents into a light game that they make because one of them sees they have a singleton in our suit and there's and I'm not thrilled. So
Yeah.
I'm of the mixed school. I also play a forcing club system, and while I agree that it's not as valuable there, um, I find that people make more mistakes simply because I'm putting pressure on them, and so I'm a fan.
Right, right.
And there we go. There's 10 rippers.
I think especially after overcalls, that's a big time where because the overcall is a lot more wide ranging than an opening bid for a limit for people who play limited opening systems.
Sure.
When they open a club, I will call a spade that could be six. Well, on a very bad day, could be 6 points and could be 18 points. So it's important. It's a lot more valuable
I have a poll. I
to
was just gonna say I have a poll
defend.
question. How many people sitting south in today's game are gonna open a heart? And there goes Eric. Is that
Uh,
pretty?
I think it's
What
I would
percentage would
not
you think? We'll look at the frequency afterwards.
I would say it's not an opening bid if you're playing 2/1, and if you're playing precision, it is because
And they play precision.
yes, and the reason for that is because when you're limited to 15 high card points and you're not vulnerable, partner can cater to this a little easier. But when it's 10 to 20 points, as it would be in standard, I think you could get too high. So I'm not a fan of this playing 2/1. I am a fan of this playing precision.
And
What do you
Sartaj, you're a precision player too. You agree, right? You just
Yeah, for us, this would be a routine 1 hour opening. But as Mitch makes the point, it's a lot easier when your opening bid is limited that you can act lighter.
because you don't have that weird
So
decision at the 3 level with the north hand sometimes, right? Where knowing partner has at most like a bad 15. Basically, you're going to avoid that trouble, right? If you've opened light. North thinking. You bidding here? 2 diamonds? You can,
well,
no, I
he
think he's contemplating a double. He's got a nice lead, which doesn't work out so well on the hand. You know,
yeah,
there's
true.
no reason partner is light for his action, and
Now they're just going to play one no. That's probably not too bad either for. He is going to lead a diamond still, right? Yep, there it is.
I'd be tempted to double if my partner had opened a heart vulnerable, because then I would expect a little bit more. But non-vulnerable, it wouldn't enter. I wouldn't do it.
Gotcha. And also the knowledge that partner is opening a lot of light hands because of your precision structure anyway, right? You're buying a wider range maybe.
Right. Yeah. Anyway.
They also just played one no, and it. I'm wondering, did it go?
so I guess let's go through it. Declarer can see he's got three spades, a diamond, four, a likely heart five. So it's logical to start on clubs.
You're going to make a lot of tricks here, it's declared.
Everything is favorable.
Totally.
Everything is favorable.
And the other table, it went pass and no trump, all float, which is probably those are our two auctions with this hand.
Right.
And yeah, interesting.
I'll
Quite a
just be
few.
back in a couple.
Yeah,
Taking a very
take
short
your
break.
time,
I'll be back.
Sartaj. Couple tables played one no trump doubled in the West. It went a hard and no trump, and they did double with the North hand. Interesting. Plus 180. So this did have quite a few differing looks. It looks like.
Well, the fact that West has bid one no Trump vulnerable makes doubling a little bit more appealing, because if you're right and they go down, you're going to get a bigger score,
Sure.
and if they only make one doubled, it's not that big a deal.
The herd in Bathurst did pass with the South End, but then balanced over one no trump, finding their heart fit somehow.
Well, I'm hoping that we have a couple more interesting hands around the corner, because so far
It's been
it
pretty.
hasn't.
We've had some swings and imps, but it's been pretty flattish as far as the hands, and the excitement level, I suppose.
You think we should look at a different match while we're waiting for this hand to be over? It'll be
I
some
tell you
over
what,
tricks and
why don't we take a
That's a
look at
good
that
idea.
right now? Let's see what we have going on. Um, how about Juster and Goo right here, within 9 of each other? Unless
sure.
you guys have any specific players you wanna take a sweat of this. Let's see. How about Kevin and Shan here? They play some sort of precision system, also. Am I right?
Yeah, they do.
Yes, and we've noticed Kevin here has with two diamonds with the
Yeah.
north hand.
Yeah, we've seen all the different actions. Actually, there was a double there. This is the first 2 diamonds I've seen actually, and then varying degrees of opening a heart or not, and some of the younger players even passing with this hand, which is interesting. I
They need a few more gray hair to open one heart today.
don't know.
So this hand should probably be over very soon, and then we'll get to see.
Yeah, let's we can go back to this table actually and see if they're finishing up. They're still taking the slow approach here. Why don't we go back and see?
Oh, I see. West here has managed to get his partner in played.
Oh, really?
Anyways,
Sorry, I jumped off of it.
no, that's
Let's
okay.
let's go to table 5 for a second.
All right. How about right here?
So um, we've got Steve Garner, who just got into the Hall of Fame, a fine player. David Berkowitz, who is a fine player and a brilliant commentator as well.
Yep. And
And the,
we just had his whole family on here today. To be honest, Mitch, we had Dana and Michael commentating. So now we get to watch David. It's fitting. Club lead not working out perfect for Josh here.
so
Unfortunate.
this is part of the Bill Bailey team. And Bill, I don't know if you guys are familiar with him. He hasn't been playing that long, but he is a improving, strong player. And something that Bill did before he ever learned how to play bridge, he designed deep finesse, which, if you're
Oh, I've
familiar,
known that for years.
yeah, Bill Bailey didn't play bridge and designed a program to figure out how many tricks you could take, depending on which what the contract was. And I
That's
just thought,
amazing. I did not know that.
yep,
That's kind of like it makes me feel of like Bill James in Moneyball, like that sort of thing. Like didn't play
yeah.
bridge, but has the perfect program to analyze bridge hands. So this is just gonna wrap, right? They're gonna lose a spade and a diamond, right? If all goes reasonably well,
It looks that way to me.
it's not nothing too tricky, right?
We can move on from this one. It's not that interesting.
Well, we're gonna see it again at some point. They're still taking the slow road at this table here, unfortunately. Let's hop back off for 1 second. Maybe we can take a look at the other table in that set. Maybe that's a good one. All right, they're a little bit ahead. We can get a little sneak preview of what's coming. Okay. Adam's gonna open a spade in third chair here, and then East will probably overcall a no trump, and we'll see what happens.
South will bid 2 spades, and that'll win the auction.
Right?
Yep.
And I'm just looking at some other matches here on the other tables. You're right, guys. The set of boards not terribly exciting. Some
Well,
of the
not
plays
yet.
very interesting. And there we go.
The question is, if East elects to balance with a double, what does two no trump by West mean?
In this case, you mean after 2 spades, pass double?
That's right.
You think it would be some sort of scrambling type situation?
I find this is one issue where there is no consensus amongst the elite players, and about half of them would play two no trump there natural, and about half of them would play two no trump there as a scrambling win. And I suspect neither of them is right and neither of them is wrong because it just depends on the hand.
Mitch, what do you think?
I agree with Sartaj. There's no right or wrong. I would like to play this as a scrambling bid, but but
Yeah.
have merit. Just so for example, when you play Lebensall, do you play the two no trump bid after a takeout double is always takeout, or is it sometimes to play? And right, there's no right or wrong there either. In my most regular partnership, we play a two no trump as Lebensall if the double's made in direct bid, but if it's made in the balancing seat, it's not. Again, there's no right
Right.
or wrong. The issue is just being on the same wavelength as your partner.
Yeah, and remembering which of those positions you're in, and have agreed to make what or the other.
Yeah, and the more I forget, I'm just going to have to start taking Prevagen or whatever the drug is.
Guys, I don't believe they're a sponsor of this broadcast, so can please no free marketing for anyone, please. But if you like Prevagen, Bridge is a great substitute for it. It will boost your memory, and you'll find a lot of friends.
I happen to think that Dan Corbell is an amazingly great player, and I also love his demeanor at the table. And the only question is, how many hands in a row can he play with Zia before he gets yelled at?
They looked in very good spirits when I saw them today. So, and I agree, Dan is a really good player. And in fact, they crushed us in the GNT semifinal. That was ripping hard out, but they played amazing. And there, all is revealed.
One of the things that I like to see, Sartaj was talking earlier about how he loves watching the U.S. trials. One of the things that I think is great here is we've got people who I don't know. Okay, I've been playing bridge my whole life, and what that means is we've got young people who are taking up the game, and they are ready to compete hard against anybody. And that's exactly what we need worldwide. Is we need more young players playing, and so I think it's terrific when I look at 16 teams or 12 teams, and there's a bunch of people I don't recognize. I love that.
Yeah, and we were watching this pair earlier. It's a father-son pair, we believe. One of the very young kids that's going to be the next Finn. Just seeing a really good future for American bridge for sure. We just
Sartaj, do you have any youngsters playing in Australia, or what's the youth bridge like there?
Um, I would say it's about steady. It's not especially great and it's not especially a disaster. We are trying some initiatives. There's a foundation has been set up here where people are donating money to the foundation, and the foundation has a sole mandate to promote the game of bridge by getting new players. So I know you were involved, you have helped sponsor a similar foundation in the US, haven't you, Mitch?
Yeah, I have done
Tell us
this.
a bit about that.
Well, I'm having a lot of fun with it. Basically, what I did was I designed a program where I have a lot of people helping me do this, but I've designed a program where I pay college students to teach their friends to play bridge, and I pay their friends to learn how to play bridge. I liken it to giving drugs away for
it's
free. So
amazing.
if they play it, they like it.
Right.
And no, but on a more serious note, my notion is I tried to learn French 3 years ago and go to France, and what I found was I could memorize vocabulary, but when I got there, my brain wouldn't process the conversations because the people spoke too fast.
Yep.
Well, we can
Right.
teach bridge all day long to people who are empty nesters or retired, but let's face it, their brains don't work the same way. So if we teach people who are young to play, they might take time off to have families or have big careers, but they can come back to it and they'll understand about the rules about taking tricks and bidding games and so on. Anyway, right
Right.
now we're at about just under 20 schools um, in U.S. and Canada where I've got this program in place, and it's going really well. I mean, I probably got close to 250 kids playing bridge. And in addition, what we do to further seduce them is we pay for pizza and soda. And if you guys remember when you were kids, college students love to eat.
I mean, I'd
I
show up
spent
for anything for
I
that.
spent $3,000 one month on pizza at one school alone. It's hard to believe. And then also we've started paying for hoodies or T-shirts with the names of their bridge clubs on them. So
That's
I'm
great.
not, in the long run, I don't know what the retention factor will be, but we are, but I'm having fun with it, and I've got a lot of people helping me, and it's really been a treat.
Yeah, that's great. And
That's great to
honestly,
hear. And
sorry, Sartaj, go right ahead, please.
no, no, you go, Rob.
I was just going to piggyback and say that capturing them in college especially isn't even necessarily an immediate impact, but you're right, when they are exposed to the game and know about it, even the knowledge that it exists and it's an option at that age will bring a lot of that crew back if they don't honestly take to the game right away. So I just think it's great, and I love when anyone's kind of building the idea of bridge
You
around the
know,
world.
our parents and our grandparents played bridge because they grew up, or let's say they were survived the depression. No one had any money, and cards was entertainment. Now we have surfing the internet, we have poker, we have video games. There's so many more things young people can do, and so we have to overcome the perception that bridge is a game for old people, and that's what we have.
Yeah.
And
Ooh, this is
and
interesting.
all I can say is I'm speaking to the choir, but speaking to the two of you. Bridge has been an instrumental part of each of our lives for many years, and I want others to have the same experience.
Looks like Bob could have shaken a heart there, and now Doug's going to take three down. Or he's just going to play a diamond of the ace. Okay, he's just going to take his seven tricks. That makes sense also.
Yeah, I echo that sentiment, Mitch. Bridge is something to play for life, not to play just when you're old. Just gives us a lot, and it's also something to do, in life.
So many
It's
of my, the way I describe bridge to people, let's say who I play golf with or I work with, is I live in two universes, and when you go to a
right.
bridge tournament, it's a camp for adults.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful life,
When
and
it's competitive too. It's an outlet for anybody that was a sportsman or anybody that can't play golf or can't play tennis. It is a really terrific competitive outlet if you're into that sort of thing. Also,
So here's a question: will Rodwell overcall two clubs, or will he pass? I'm betting.
I
I'm
bet.
backing a pass. But
And by the way, people are echoing like drugs. Bridge is as addictive. There's the pass, Sartash.
Sartaj, I would have given you long odds on a pass there, and amongst
long odds, right?
well, I mean, it just no, I mean, amongst other things, I not only do I hate the club spots, but I despise overcalling vulnerable to two level with three dead in opener's first bid suit. That is just
Right. Yeah,
and if you change the hand around, you had a stiff spade, we wouldn't be having a discussion.
of course. And now I think he might double. Oh, he's passed two hearts as well.
Just super passive. Checking out. And
Yeah, as a general rule, overcalling at the two level with a five card suit is something we try to avoid doing. And here with terrible club spots and three small spades, the death holding, as Mitch referred to, we'd be make one even more reluctant to act.
we were talking about this specific type of hand earlier and echoing all of those sentiments. Exactly. Too many people are in there with this hand and probably shouldn't be, especially the advancing players. They think they don't realize how good you have to be at the two level.
Now, one of the things about this lead, most of us don't like to lead away from kings against suit contracts. Now, Eric does not have an attractive lead, obviously.
Exactly.
But by the same token, he might have made a more passive lead if he was defending four hearts. But the pass implies his partner has some cards, which does, and of course, there's no good alternatives. But that makes a club lead much more enticing because you know your partner's not broke. Unfortunately, his partner's cards are all in spades,
Yeah.
so this was not a success.
But you're right. He's not loving any choice of leads other than, maybe trying the ace of hearts and seeing if he can guess what's right after he sees dummy.
It's a nightmare to lead, but you know what? There's less wear and tear when you're leading against a card score.
Yeah, for sure. The first, I think it was either the first or the second set today. It seemed like literally every hand had a difficulty choice in it. It felt like a scheduled test of some kind. All right. This looks like it's going to be pretty similar to the result achieved at the other table.
I was going to make. How do you feel about West's decision to pass two hearts at this table? Sartaj, do you agree with that, or would you have bid three hearts?
I think West raised three hearts,
They did.
two hearts to three
I
hearts.
thought at one table they did, one table they didn't, or did I misread
They
that?
they oh well, actually I haven't looked at the other table. Interesting. They had. I'm looking at the wrong board. Yeah,
I just think you have
they're
to
way
raise.
ahead.
You've got five hearts, an ace, and a king. You just have to raise.
Well,
Some
it's
Yeah,
people,
more,
they
it's
had a
closer
similar.
to a four heart raise than a pass, surely,
yeah,
isn't it? I mean,
They
you got
had,
five trumps, you have an ace and a king, you know? I mean, I would
exactly,
probably,
yeah,
yeah.
they
exactly.
duplicated this auction at the other table. Same exact auction.
Okay, I need to sharpen my analysis. The only way to do that is by getting a refill in my coffee. I'll be right back.
Nice.
Right.
Enjoy.
Okay.
Now, Sartaj, you are beginning your day with bridge. I like that. That's always a nice start to the day.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I happen to be in a fortunate situation that I work from myself, so
Very nice.
I can choose what I do in the mornings, but I'll have to catch up for all this work, all this time later.
Well, we really
Speaking of which,
appreciate you
Rob,
doing this.
tomorrow I have to go about 11, so about 40 minutes from now. So I won't be able to do the whole session. So I'm happy to skip it if you want me to, or
No worry. You mean tomorrow or tonight?
not tomorrow.
Oh yeah, no problem. For as long as you can stay is terrific.
Okay, great,
Yeah.
great. Because we have a bridge tournament in Australia that
Oh, very nice.
I have to organize some travel to. So here, I think this hand should be over soon,
Yep.
which
There it is. 10 tricks.
give us a new hand to talk about.
And we are, I think, 6 hands from the end, and I think we're at probably one of the slower tables. I'm believing because we haven't seen too many delays, at least at our table, which means we might be the slow table. And
It's a funny game, bridge. Sometimes you play and every hand is a 6-5 or a 8-4, and sometimes every hand is a 4-3-3, and you know, that's how it feels like today. That every hand's a bit dull.
yeah, and here's just gonna kind of be a diamond pass a spade, a no trump, and how how high will they get? They were in 3-0 at the other table. Could play spades also. You would think most people would probably play spades on this hand, right? It's
Yeah,
interesting that they're in
how
3
come they
0.
got to 3-0 Trump? Maybe they had
All
a
right.
mix of some sort. Can you look
Let's
at
look
I'll,
at
that?
the
I'll, I'll
let's
tell
look at
you,
the
yeah.
auction.
Yeah, I
Well,
got
let's
you.
look at the
The
auction
auction.
first. Yeah,
Yeah, for
yeah.
sure. I'll sweat the other table, guys. Don't worry about that. Wow. So just a no trump here, probably. Ooh, the two spade
I'm
raise.
surprised. That's interesting.
Because he has the asking bid here. He's anticipating if he needs it. The other table, it went in no trump. Okay. That was easy.
It's the three small hearts. I mean, I know Michael Courtney plays this way, but I haven't seen anybody else play this way. There's
I
an
was
Australian called Michael Courtney, and he would raise with three when he's unwilling to rebid no
When he
trumps.
has some obvious problem that he's considering in his hand.
I
Yeah,
thought
and
you raised with
yeah,
three, but I couldn't do it with a 4-3-3 hand.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. No, but Michael plays very similarly.
Ooh, someone's given us some on the hand before. The most common action was pass pass instead of our action. Interesting.
I'm sorry, I've forgotten. What was the hand before again?
I believe it's where they opened a heart with a 10 count, if I believe, if we're talking about
Oh,
53.
right.
This is just a friendly.
Well, it was a
Oh, no.
favorable lead. It was a favorable opening lead because don't lead a trump, if you don't lead a trump, then declare is going to have to guess whether to try and pin the 10 or play for King Doubleton. So that's been taken away. Uh, I've played a number of teams with Hammond, and one of the things he despises is trump leads.
Really?
So
Yeah.
this would be one thing for him. Now I'm wondering when Bob plays a heart towards his hand, will Doug find a good duck from the ace? Let's see what happens there.
So this is a combination that is also
Actually, he's not. He's going to play 4 rounds of diamonds, pitching a club, and then he could lose 2 hearts. It doesn't matter. So this will turn into a nothing hand.
Were you going to talk about that card combo, though, Sartaj? King, Queen, 10, 4th, opposite 9, 3rd?
yeah. So
Lay it
one
on
way
us. I like it.
to try to dissuade North from ducking the first heart is to play heart to the queen rather than heart to the king. Most people would play heart to the king
Yeah.
and hope it loses to the ace. But heart to the queen makes it a lot harder for North to duck.
Interesting.
Excellent. That's an excellent point.
Great point.
So here, I suspect he's going to shake a club and just run the 9 of hearts. I think it's just he has the tempo to.
We have another quote in here. Matthew was adamant never lead Trump unless it's right. Sounds like a Yogi Berra-ism also.
Yeah. One of Australia's finest players, Stephen Burgess, has a similar rule, and he tells his partner, a trump, never lead a trump. And his partner says, is a trump never right? He says, no, a trump is right one hand in 20, and you're not smart enough to know which
Oh, man.
how to distinguish that hand. So you're better off never leading a trump.
This reminds me of a story of a top English player instructing his partner it was Tony Forrester. He's instructing his partner not to lead away from kings, and they're playing Rubber Ridge in London, and his partner goes into a trance, and Forrester announces that his partner has
got 4 kings. Yeah. He doesn't. He's reached the limit of his thought process here. All right. So this looks like, yeah, they can lose another heart here, and that's all she wrote. So
Can we look up the auction in the other room? How
Absolutely.
come they got to 3 no trump?
Yeah, I actually sweated it already. It went a no trump, Stamen. Then they bid 2 diamonds, and it went Smolin.
Right.
3 spades, and then lefty bid 3 no trump. West bid 3 no trump, and then they decided to pass it out there. So they had a Smolin-ish auction, or at least that's what it said in the comments. And then they decided to just play 3 no trump.
It's possible they had a mix-up in that me and my partner, we just very recently discussed this auction, that after Smolin, which is 3 hearts showing 5 spades and 4 hearts, and the opener bids 3 spades, confirming a spade fit, is 3 no trump by responder. You could play it as a natural and offer, some hand with 5 spades, 4 hearts, 2-2 in the minors with some soft honors. Or you can play it as a non-serious slam try. So it's possible they had some mix-up around that.
And in
or
fact,
maybe the guy got.
The only thing I know is that they had the normal auction where everything was looking pretty standard, and then 3 spades wasn't alerted in any way. So there's no clarification. But I get what you're saying. It could certainly be that. But it's weird that West would even choose to bid. Joel is the person that bid 3 no. So maybe he tends to do some interesting stuff.
Right.
There's another 10 count, 1 spade, this time in 3rd chair, though. So this is honestly an opening bid probably everywhere, right?
This was Joel Roolrich who bid 3 no?
Yeah. After betting small and hearing three spades and then three
I'm
no.
I'm really sad that I would have been, should have been at the table when that happened because Joel never makes mistakes against me, and I would have been.
All right. Well, honestly, maybe he thought that was more of like, hey, I have a really good hand with spades. Is that possible? And partner
Yeah,
was, supposed to always bid four spades no matter.
I would think of me forward going with spades, but I think
Sure.
Sartar's point, which he's right on, that you could play it either way. And again, this is where you could take two great players, but if they don't sit down and really work out what they're playing,
Yeah.
Totally.
there's all sorts of disadvantages.
We were talking about that earlier. You guys see it all, and you've done it all with big tournaments. Like, you're not just showing up and playing. These guys are bidding thousands of hands together, talking through every nauseating detail of their system if they're going to play a lot of bridge together, and they
I
want to
think
do well.
the thing that I dread the most when I'm going to play bridge is if I get on a plane and I've got 4 or 5 hours, I have to go through my notes. I
Yeah.
really No one likes going through the notes,
No,
but
Yeah.
it's a Sominex situation.
that's the Sominex coup. Read your bridge.
That's right. All right, just the two spade
Rob,
contract
what you
here.
said about, partnerships spend thousands of have bid thousands of hands together and made all these agreements. All I'll say to that is I wish that was true.
All right,
I wish.
It's hilarious.
very good, very good.
All right, back to the sand.
Uh,
So, Sartaj, you said you play a forcing club with your regular partner. How often do you discuss bidding treatments or changing bidding, or is everything pretty much in place?
Look, I have learned, this is my third, partnership, having played with two other people for about 10 years each. So I'm a big fan of don't ever change system. So I'm a fan of add to system, but don't change.
Interesting.
So when I started this latest partnership with Andy, I was willing to have areas where we had no agreement and just, back general principles and, whatever happens, happens. I personally find changing system is where you lose imps. It's very hard to win imps with system. Most of the time it doesn't matter, or the other treatment also works. So yeah, I guess I've given a long answer to a simple question.
No, I
No,
think what you said,
that's
I think
great.
what you said is very wise. I like to tinker, and there's a real cost benefit analysis. And I know that when my partners start changing their phone numbers on me, I know I've gone too far.
You mean
Like,
Yeah,
you mean when you send them that 85-page system note?
I innocently said, so playing precision, I innocently said to my regular partner last week, I was playing with someone else I played a couple years ago with someone else, and I said I like their sequences of a diamond, a heart, a spade, two clubs, the advances after that. Maybe we
right.
should change these from what we're putting out, make them easier. And,
Yeah.
it was all of a sudden there was silence on the other end of the phone.
Right.
You know when you've gone too
Well, so
far.
that's a great example, Mitch. I mean, my partnership with Andy has been about a year and a half, and we don't have any system there. Diamond, a heart, a spade, two clubs. We just see it's fourth suit. All we play is that two diamonds is natural and two hearts would be doubleton plus. That's not my preferred treatment,
But it works
but
reasonably well.
it's an idea of I have a preferred option, but I will introduce that at some point when my partner is happy to,
You know what?
t-
That's a good approach. You're very wise.
yeah, well, I've
No,
Is
learned
there
the hard
is there a
way.
budding
no, you're
partnership
making,
here? Do we
no,
have a pair for the world?
you're making your partner happy.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and yeah, I mean, and there's such value in that.
Will you guys be playing the World Open pairs together now? And I think is that 2 years from now, maybe, or
I
something
want to
like
get. I've been trying to get to the Gold Coast for 2 or 3 years, but that's about as close as we're going to get.
that.
Yeah, the Gold Coast is a great tournament, though. There's a good reason why you have been.
No,
Oh,
it's going to happen. It's a question of how much international travel I can do without my spouse, where she's not.
you're
That's
right.
Your
age.
non-bridge playing spouse,
Yeah,
obviously.
We
Yeah.
play golf together. That's a little dicey at times.
So for those audience who may not know, the Gold Coast tournament in Australia is, it's in a league of its own. I say that as somebody who has played a lot of tournaments around the world. It's a great venue. It's organized very well. Everything just flows. It's right next to the beach. So if you ever feel like trying it out, Google it up. The
Uh,
Gold Coast Congress in Australia.
Sounds like a dream. And in the chat, Sartaj, I just want to read what they wrote. For those of you who don't know, Sartaj has won the Risinger, and starting just before
No.
COVID,
I wish I'd won the Risinger, Rob.
It says has won the Risinger, and starting just before COVID, performed very well with Spring Nationals, finally getting seed in the top 16.
This guy didn't even mention one of the things that I think is really admirable about Sartaj. He wrote one of the best bridge books I've read in the last 10 years. And
Thank
so
you.
if any of you like to read bridge books, um, I need to plug that because it just got everything you want. It's got the highs and the lows, quality hands, and all I can say is I'm waiting by the bookseller for Sartaj's next book.
Awesome. Sartaj, give us a plug of the name of the book. I'm gonna grab it now.
Well, thank you for your very kind words, Mitch. You might have a very long wait ahead of you for the next. I wrote a book called Battling the Best. It was a very personal journey about a Risinger tournament I played with my partner, Peter Gill. Yeah, and it was.
I'm writing it into the chat everywhere. Battling the pest.
Battling the Best.
The best. Sorry.
The best.
He's also battling the best, but he was
honestly, it could be both.
Yeah, and I tried to do a fairly honest account. A number of people have said things to me on the grounds of no one ever writes about hands that they've really screwed up, and I'm like, they are the best hands to talk about.
Totally.
It's just things happen to everyone. Yeah.
The most amazing comments I get on my YouTube channel are the times where I've broadcasted a hand where I've completely gotten it wrong and acted dumb, and that's just great to see for everybody. You just have to see people.
It's I've been working on a book for some time with Hammond, okay, about Hammond's experiences and so on and so forth. And all I can tell you is this was an incredible amount of work, but I had a lot of help. And so for Sartaj to do this on his own, frankly, no one writes bridge books to make much money. It's not there. But you're doing it because you love the game and you want to share your experiences. But again, that book is really worth picking up. It's one of the I grew up reading Reese and Kelsey books, and it's been a long time since I read a book where I liked as much as I liked that one. And there's some others I like too, mind you, but I'm only here plugging Sartaj.
Oh, thank you, Mitch. That certainly made my day. So, what is the book project you're working with Hammond?
Well, I've been working basically, I would sit around in a bar with Hammond and say, you have all these amazing stories, and they're going to die if they're not put into publishing form. And I said, I don't really want to do this, but if you can't find anyone else to do this, I will do it, and I'll write it with you.
Right.
So anyway, he foolishly jumped on that. And it's been, one of the things that's amazing to me about Hammond is the fact that he's in his mid 80s and he's still competing at the highest level. And I just find that remarkable.
Yeah, like they talk about LeBron James and Tom Brady. I mean, Hammond you said, we were talking earlier, 60 years at the table, and he's still playing world championships.
But but a lot of this is just stories that didn't get in he wrote one other book, and a lot of this.
They're Al Hollander's in the chat, and he apologizes for getting you as a non-Rising Around. Apologies, but he said that his first book was called "Still at the Table," I believe.
At the table.
At the table.
The first one's At the Table.
The next book should be Still at the Table. Yeah.
Originally, that was one possible title, but the tentative title is I'm Bad, You're Worse.
I've heard similar quotations about this about bridge.
That is the funniest bridge thing I have heard.
That's perfect.
This year, I'm bad,
we're all
you're
terrible,
worse.
basically, when it comes to the perfection of it.
You know,
That's awesome.
anyway, and so one of the things that I had to do that was actually really fun is I talked to so many people who played with or against Bob over the years where I get stories. And some of these stories are just mind-boggling. I'll give you an example of one, and then we can go back to analyzing these hands, which fortunately aren't that interesting.
Well, yeah, there's not a ton going on at the table, so we
No,
can we
but one
can
of these stories that I like to
digress.
share is there's a guy who was a fine player in the 60s who then ran a bridge club named Ron Vonderpoorten. Okay. He's about Hammond's age.
It's actually a
Okay.
pretty good name. I like it.
And he won a bridge tournament in I want to say 1963, and there's a hand that another expert was playing against him, and the guy didn't find the right defense, which is not an easy defense to find, and the hand is written up in Sports Illustrated.
No kidding.
Okay, that's 1963. 60 years
Wow.
later, maybe 58 years later, Hammond is having dinner with this guy, and the other guy, Vanderpoort, just gives this hand to Hammond, who's then is in his 80s, and all Hammond says, without any introduction to the hand, says, Paul Allinger misdefended this hand. He should have beaten it. He should have done da 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 da. 60 years had
Oh,
gone by, and he recognized it.
wow.
He instantly said how to beat it.
That's amazing.
That's Bob.
Wow.
That's
That's
Bob.
Bob.
Yeah,
That's Bob.
yeah,
And of
that's a
course, there's a lot of
talent.
off-color stuff that I can't say here that's in this book too. But Bob is a Damon Runyon character. That's I don't know, or, I don't know quite what to say, but he's and that's one of the joys of bridge. You've got really bright people who are animated, and
I know a lot of fascinating professions in the bridge world too. Like there's
yeah,
Oscar winners, there's hedge fund managers, there's people that are bridge bums and just kind of live day by day trying to get a bridge game in.
yeah, that's
That's
right, and
great.
that's why we all love it. And
Exactly. So finally, back to another kind of normal hand here, right? 4-4-3-2 with the righty. Now it's gonna go a club, a diamond probably, and is West gonna try to trap here and just pass?
with 2-2 in the majors, I suspect he'll probably be the down trump. We'll see.
Yeah, and then
Plus, plus the right-hand opponent is not vulnerable. So even if you beat him,
yeah,
Yeah. The other danger
nice.
with playing for penalties with a West Hand is that you have four clubs. So when the bidding goes club or diamond, pass to partner, and he, will sometimes go way out of his way to make a takeout double with some strange shape like 3406, 4405. And those sort of shapes, the fact that you have club length is going to seriously reduce your chances of making tricks against the, one diamond or two diamonds double. So I think that's another argument for bidding no trumps
Nice.
here.
And Bob agrees.
you know, sometimes you can't catch up. You pass, and the auction gets out of control, and you
Right.
Right.
can't catch up. So one note trip describes the hand pretty close to what you have. You got the fifth diamond, but
Yeah.
and you're not going to get in trouble hitting a note
What's your
trip.
pleasure with Doug's hand? You leading a heart here? You're gonna forego. I mean, you have the ace of clubs. You have
I would lead a heart.
Sartaj.
I think so. I think so. It's the suit with the most promise.
And there's whatever their agreements are for this card.
They're reading. I'm sure they're leading Rusino.
Yeah.
I think because you have the ace of clubs, and you might strike partner with something like king third heart sitting over dummy's ace queen X, and that could be enough to run a lot of tricks in no trumps. So
Sure.
definitely agree with the heart lead. So he is got three spades and three heart
He's got
six.
6. He's gonna sweat his seventh. Clubs
There's a
are
big in having a singleton and a doubleton in partner suit too. So
Yeah.
you have a lot to do on this hand. You have to kind of clear spades quickly because you're not going to be able to communicate in hearts, and I think at some point they're just going to end up having to give them a trick or lead something to them, right?
well, here the two hands have interesting communication problems.
And if you unblock spades, now you can't communicate with West. So it's just like they made an over trick at the other table, and I guess that's Joel. Joel also playing one no trump there.
All right, well, that's good because my faith in Joel has been renewed.
We had a poll in the junior house, Mitch, and it was like who, if your life was on the line and someone had to declare one no trump doubled, who would play it? And almost everyone said Joel.
Really?
There were some votes for Helgamo also, but
what were the choices?
it was kind of the people we knew in that general area,
Right.
and but I mean,
Yeah, sure.
someone said Helgamo, and probably Versace is discussed, but Joel's pretty nasty in that department.
Also, I just like his demeanor at the table. He plays the game the right way, and
Super ethical too.
yeah.
And there,
So now that he's got the diamond trick in, he might
Well,
play a king, queen of
he can cash a spade
spades.
and exit a diamond.
Yeah, but he has to run the seven of diamonds, cross the spades, exit a diamond, discarding a spade, and then the defense hopefully can't cash four clubs. Oh, but even if they can cash four clubs, that's still only four clubs and two diamonds for the defense. So yeah, that
Now,
looks quite clean.
now Bob saw the nine of diamonds, and LHO didn't. The only thing he could have is 9-8 doubleton, which would give RHO a four-card overcall.
he
Unlikely. So
found it.
correctly,
Nice.
he
Well done.
correctly runs seven of diamonds, and now he can play two rounds of spades and exit a diamond. And I think that's all she wrote.
And while that's going on, I'm just going to take a look at anything going on. Looks like most of the tables are finishing up. We're probably in the latest room here, so.
I really like the title of that book, Mitch. I'm bad, you're worse.
That's amazing.
It's bridge. This is how it is.
Yeah, one of the comments you made earlier in our discussion was talking about system and having great system, which is of course true, but um, there's no substitute for just judgment and and people make mistakes. So I'm bad, you're worse. Everyone makes mistakes, and if you make fewer mistakes than your opponents, then you're usually going to win.
Well, it's hard that it's hard though that the only way to develop judgment is to sit down and see a lot of hands as well, and just be in these situations. And you're right. There's that play. Exit a diamond and good luck, Eric.
Well, the club suit is also dead. Looking at, you can't very well.
Well. What is he thinking? Is he
All he can do is
thinking,
win the
can I
diamond.
duck it?
He could
Can he duck it?
duck it,
Well,
but
but
then
then
he just
declare
has
plays
to
a
exit a
club.
spade or a diamond at some point, right?
Or a club, but a club block. The club suit will be blocked if he ducks it. So I predict he'll win this
So
spade.
just let's say he's thinking. Let's go through his thinking. If I duck this, he knows partner has the ace of clubs. Declarer will play club to the 10 and jack,
Yep.
and I will now cash the ace of diamonds.
Here.
But declarer can pitch a spade from dummy. So yeah, there is sometimes you have these hands where
Where
the
dummy
delayed
gets-
cash can squeeze the dummy. Yeah, but that doesn't happen here. Yeah, okay.
So, but also that just goes to, especially later in a tournament, even if you kind of have a really straightforward play, it's pretty helpful to just do like a crazy Ivan, like in the Hunt for Red October. Just kind of be sure nothing's popping up or you haven't forgotten about anything, basically.
Rob, I think Sartaj has been a little too sharp today in this session. So maybe you should give him a schedule and put him on an earlier shift.
You think you want
Yes.
Sartaj to be at the 11 a.m. our time? Like,
Oh no,
Wake him
no.
up at 2 a.m.
Great
Over
I'm
there.
idea.
just I'm just working him over.
I'm just thinking back to this hand. I suspect so. Jack of diamonds. Let's say he had ducked it, and declarer had played club to the 10 and jack. Now you cash the ace of diamonds. Declarer pitches a spade. Now you unblock the club, come out a spade, and partner scores the club in the end. So you
Oh,
score
interesting.
three
Because Dummy
three
has pitching
clubs and a
problems on the
diamond.
diamond.
Whereas with this defense, he's going to score two clubs, a spade, and a diamond. Oh no, all right, it comes to the same thing. So
If you ever want to, I know now we're comfortable enough with everything going on and things working properly that we can probably go back and sweat specific spots
no,
there as well.
actually, wait a second. Now declarer plays a spade, and you make a spade, two clubs, and a diamond. Yeah, yeah.
And here it is. There's the club. Cash a spade, and now two diamond tricks. Or a club and a
Well,
heart.
actually, Eric needs to cash the king of clubs and play the spade.
Yeah.
Because now what's going to happen is
Yeah, he's gonna get in play.
Yeah, he has to do something good.
well, now Bob will score a diamond instead of the ace of hearts.
Yep.
Or two diamonds.
And there it is, marked.
Now this Bob made a funny. This was interesting because I would have settled for the seven tricks there, and Bob has now pulled a rabbit out of the hat. Good for him.
Yeah, he knows Joel's sitting in his seat at the other table. He's got to make that two there.
Yeah.
And this is just a claim two tricks for them. He's already seen the result of the diamonds.
Yeah,
So-
nicely done.
Yeah,
Push.
Bob Hammond.
So let's look at the other matches and see if anything's really tight.
Honestly, they are all pretty much winding up, to be fair. In fact, wait, let me get that window set up before I jump over there. In fact, I tell you what, we will look at it from this side. Here comes some live scores. So, Han Leibowitz still pretty close. Leibowitz now ahead, one board left in that match. Rosenthal off to a big lead. Fleischer off to a big lead. Bramley doing well. Robinson and Bailey still kind of.
Buster match is interesting.
It's super close. And they are also around. They probably have one of the longest treks to go. Let's see what's going on here. If we can. Take us to the table. There we go. All right, so two boards left for these guys.
I played a lot against Mike Purcell and Andy Goodman in the last year or two, and they really have developed a fine partnership. I have to tell you.
Right.
This
They've been
is-
doing well in the nationals as well.
Yeah.
I recall they made a semi-final at the last national, I believe, and another one last year.
They don't really beat themselves. That's one of the things I like. I respect them for. They don't. They know their system, and they don't really beat themselves.
I mean, those are the toughest people. Those are the toughest outs. You know, the ones that are just kind of not being brilliant, but brilliance. Their consistency is their brilliance. Question: who's taller, Mike Purcell or Ron van der Poorten?
Vanderpoorten, I would think. The sheriff.
It's amazing that. All right, let's see what's going on the ultimate board of this set here. And this is it for day one. Now, the hilarious part about this is guys gone through a full day of bridge, and they have a full day tomorrow until they figure out who wins this match. 2-day matches in this event.
Well, yeah, that's wonderful. Wonderful bridge to play 2 days.
Yeah, that's another attraction of the US trials. They've always had a very rigorous format, you know,
Yeah.
these 120 board matches, 128 board matches. And before Love Bridge, when we can see every bid and every card, we used to have BBO. And even before then, I think for a while, the USBF, they were recording every card and reporting it on the website. So it's just been like
Yeah,
it's
old
an
school
iconic
view
event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The 14 to 16 is their range for no trumps, so that's a obviously a flat 14, but 14 to 16 is the range. And the question is, what is South doing with this beautiful hand?
How would you bid this in, guys?
Do you
If you're,
pup it? Do you,
I
do,
mean,
do you hope for the best, or do you try to just start talking about minor suits here?
well, the fact that it's 14 to 16 as opposed to 15 to 17, does it matter? I mean, is this hand worth a mild slam try in diamonds? I mean, how do you sort this out?
And this three club is weak or game forcing? We happen to know it's game forcing, but it's a two-way bid for them. So there's three diamonds, which is I'm expecting we'll get some info on that.
I think there's lots of different parts, isn't it? Like for us, we would have to bid one no trump, three diamonds, showing both minors, and then partner can ask for shortness.
So they found a way to show shortness in this one, Hartaj, just like you're saying. Three diamonds was probably kind of whatever they're supposed to do, and three spades is shortness.
I sort of like what Mextroth and Rodwell used to do. They used to bid puppet stamen, and then if partner denied a major, then you bid your shortness, and now you implied both minors. So
Got
you
it.
get the best of all worlds.
And then you have your judgment over that bit as far as what's going on.
I like that too.
But then again, with 6-4, you sort of want to emphasize diamonds. So I'm not saying anything is clear, but that was one path. Sorry, you go, Mitch.
No, I agree. I have tools, and you probably have these tools also, which of course come up once a year if you're lucky. And
If you're lucky, yeah.
Yeah.
lucky, and then when they come up, you're terrified your partner's not going to remember.
You're going through all the emotions of a bridge player. It's amazing.
I'm starting
Yeah.
to sweat just thinking about this right now.
And it's good. We were talking about this earlier. A lot of people are agreeing to play two no trump as puppet stamen now instead of three clubs anyway for a little extra space, I suppose, one extra bit.
So what are the tools that you would have for a hand like this, Mitch?
Okay, well, you're going to be sorry you asked. I'm a,
Okay.
I'm going to be. I'm a strong proponent of two no trump as puppet stamen. So I bid two no trump. Partner bids
Speaking
three clubs, denying a 5-card major. And now, if I bid three hearts, that would show 4 spades. If I bid 3 spades, that would show 4 hearts. Instead, if I bid 3 diamonds, that says I'm either in theory 4-1-4-4 or 1-4-4-4, and partner can ask. And I don't know if that fits this hand precisely well, but a lot of the hands that you were talking about, if I'm 5-4 in the minors, I could maybe do that. Of course, if I'm 5-4 or 3-1, I might jump to 3 of a major. Over another
Right, directly. Right.
That's a common
Yep.
treat.
Mitch, I've recorded this conversation and sent it to your partner. Don't worry, you guys will be on the same page.
He's already changed his phone number. It's okay. but on this hand, you'd want to make a mild slam try, and obviously the fewer cards partner hits in spades, the more excited you're going to get. I think what I would do is I would transfer to diamonds and bid 3 spades, showing shortness, which is practical. It's not perfect, but if I had one more card, I'd be more aggressive.
Actually, I think I like your because you're basically showing, a 6, usually representing a 6-3-3-1 with that path.
When you get to show
And
shortness,
that's probably, that's probably a better representation than showing both minors with spade shortness.
Would you be worried about a 3 spade bid if you had splinters as your agreement there, just kind of lying about your minor suit length, or is that too egregious?
Or maybe even that. That's right. Showing spade shortness.
If you have 1, 3, 5, 4 in the mix, even though it's not quite that, but
Yeah.
I mean, everything's a little bit off, and
you're not kind of emphasizing your best suit, ace 10 9 6 the diamonds, right? So,
the one thing I would say to some of our audience here, one rule that I've learned the hard way, and both of you have learned the hard way, is you're going to be disappointed if you play partner to have the perfect hand. His partner never has the perfect hand.
Yeah.
So let's start with that. And here, again, it was a 14 to 16 no trump. It was 16 to 18. Again, the little variance changes the odds.
excuse me, I can't believe I yawned on camera there. That was too much.
So I think tomorrow I'm on the 10 a.m. shift or thereabout, and
Yeah.
you have in Sartaj. This has been so enjoyable. I insist on Sartaj again tomorrow at 10 a.m.
Yep. Sartaj,
Me
we'll
too.
see
I
you.
really enjoyed
Would you like a
commentating
wake
with
up
you.
call, possibly? If we could have, have you deleted Mitch's phone number yet? And by the way, another drop in from Al, another Hammonism. Don't play me for the perfect hand. I don't have it.
All right.
Yeah.
And for those of you watching, yeah, I have a lot of fans. Gavin Wolper and I do a show on my channel, so a lot of people wondering where's Gavin. Like we can't watch Gavin every match, but they're doing very well, and we watch them around
Right.
here.
What team is Gavin playing on?
He is playing on. It's he and Chris Wilenkin, Rosenthal, Andrew Rosenthal, and
Rosenthal. Right,
Silverstein
right. Yeah. Yeah.
and Cran Vince. So I
No,
mean,
I've actually seen some of your I don't, what do you call them? You can't call them podcasts. Your shows.
yeah, yeah.
I think they're very good. They're very good.
Thank you, appreciate that.
So sometimes I log in. Just I don't watch all of it, but just log in to see how it's going. And I like
I
how you guys do.
I appreciate it, and high praise from you, Sartaj. So I really appreciate that, and
You
I
know,
think all three of
Rob,
us are really big on supporting Bridge, and finding any sort of way to do that is really great. So I
so
appreciate
Rob,
that.
I have not seen it. I need to see one, but I want to tell you I have some intermediate players that I play with and talk bridge about a fair amount, and all they do is say that what you guys do is the best thing around.
That's awesome. Yeah,
Right,
So
that's
they're
right.
good.
drinking the Kool-Aid. That's all
All
I can
right,
tell.
that's good. That's good. It's powerful Kool-Aid. Kool-Aid, and we like it.
Yeah, and
My thing was I lived in a house filled with world class bridge players, and I just came back to the game. So I would ask them a question, and much like I ask you guys questions, and they don't give the answer like you guys. They give the analysis, like, okay, right hand opponent probably has six clubs here and probably has shortness here, and it was fascinating, and there was nowhere else you could get it. So to bring
mm,
that sort of thought to the rest of the playing world is kind of mind blowing. Like I can't tell you how many times I just sat there and said, first of all, I never thought to even think that way, and now that you've said that, I'm even more passionate about the game. So I think it's just important. And Doug has an important choice here. Would you evaluate this as just a sign off most of the time, unless partner does something super accepty?
I'd be very tempted to bid two clubs, which and then bid two spades over partner's response, which would be a very light invitational action.
Got it.
yes, I think the North Hand is certainly worth more than just a sign off. Or especially because the one note trump is 14 to 16, so you can't enforce the game, which was my
Got it.
instinct. So, but I like the two clubs, two diamonds, two spades part.
Huh?
But here,
Here they
this
got in
today
with
was
clubs at the other table, and I can tell you, where was that? Board
well,
59.
three clubs. North will probably compete to three spades. I mean,
So
no one's
without
probably.
the well, it's weird. They opened heart. Oh, sorry, because I'm not sure what their system is there, but it went a heart double by lefty, two hearts, three clubs, all pass.
Right.
So Joel in there with a little bit of an off-shaped double, hates hearing three clubs, but is saved by King Queen Jack 9 sixth in partner's hand.
You know, but he's got a lot of tickets.
Yeah,
He's got a
yeah,
lot of
for sure.
tickets. And he'd be very happy if the opponents get pushed to three spades.
Right, because then he has just a great hand for defense, right? And here we
Yeah.
go.
And he knows, and he's happy to lead a club, even
Yeah.
though the diamond may be fine also.
So the play in three spades will be he can make it just about in time
Well, he
because
should play.
defenders.
There's no reason not to make the safety play in trumps.
No, but West will split. So it'll go King of Diamonds. King of Diamonds duck would be a mistake, but King of Diamonds ace, ace of spades, spade, queen, king, and now you play hearts and you just make it in time as
Right.
West has
The key,
three
right. The key thing is the West
hearts.
has three hearts.
Yeah.
But ducking the diamond, which is the reflexive sort of play, would be a mistake. because the defenders can switch to clubs and you are down.
Now your slow trick is open there as well. Here it is.
If it went ace of spades, low, low, 9, declarer would have to think about playing a spade to the 10th and second time around. But as it is, he has played spade to the king, and now he will have to play hearts. That's his only chance, really.
Right.
Yep. He knows he has
He's
two
risking
spade losers and a
losing
diamond.
a club, a diamond, a heart, and 2 spades is 5 tricks. So he has to hope that his heart gets ruffed by a trump winner and that it's the 4th heart. So.
Because they're going to clear out the ace of
Oh,
clubs.
wait a second. Unless you try to think in terms of trump reductions and trying to ruff twice in dummy and reduce your spade losers, that's really remote, isn't it? Yeah.
Because West has 3 hearts.
Yeah.
The hand can't go down.
Yeah. 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 I think he stumbled onto the winning play, and the fact that West is thinking now.
It's interesting that he ducked it here. He
tells declarer that West has 3 hearts, so this will be.
And he can play
contract that makes.
It just doesn't matter.
Diamond and a club. Yeah.
He's gonna go diamond, diamond, rough, club.
Yeah, he just has an entry and a heart to play always. All right. So that is a swing for Simpson for sure. They were plus 110 east-west, and now north-south is going to be plus 140. Need a little bit more at this table. And I think this is our last match going, or at least one of the last matches, so we're in a good spot. Jay Frizz, what's up on YouTube there? Long time, buddy. How are you? And you're right, Gavin does like sound level 2 preamps in the second seat vulnerable. As we all probably do, right?
We all like them.
The days of playing EHA are long ago.
EHA. Every hand an adventure.
Yeah.
Thank you, DC Tabor. Appreciate that.
College Stoner Bridge, EHA. There you go.
Yeah, one more hand to go.
Yeah, this is the ultimate hand. One of the more shapely ones. We've seen this version. Sorry, this is the last hand, right? Or we watched this at another table, so now we'll get this treatment. Well, before the last hand ends, gentlemen, this has been a terrific session. Thank you both so much for joining. I learned a lot, and I'm sure everybody watching did as well.
Well, I just want to go back and read Sartaj's book again. That's been the highlight, because these hands haven't been that great. But sometimes the hands are spectacular, and you never know when you're going to get one of those. And we might see something interesting here.
Yep. And once again, Battling the Best. Take a look on Amazon or wherever you buy your bridge books. Reviewed quite.
You know what? And if anyone
here.
buys the book and doesn't like it, don't blame Sartaj. Blame me, okay?
And it looks like they're taking the approach here where they're probably going to show their shortness next after making some sort of diamond bid here with 3 clubs, 6 plus diamonds.
It's cold. I don't know how we're going to get there. I mean,
if they're playing what Eric played with Mextrot, 3 clubs is puppet Stamen, 3 diamonds denied a 5-card major.
This said 3 clubs was diamonds and 6 plus diamonds forcing. So
then that's not it.
So we probably are going to see some sort of whatever they would show spade shortness with here. And
oh no, that's right. Maybe 1 note, 2 notes puppet. Right.
They might be playing something different, but I think someone did mention that Macwell and Rodwell play 2 no as puppet also, possibly.
Right. I think that was it. Because all I remember is you bid puppet with their methods, and when partner didn't have a major, then you got to show your shortness. When partner had a 5-card major, you didn't need to show your shortness anymore because either you had a fit or the hand was at least a 5-1-5-0 misfit. So you assume
Interesting.
that,
So you can
there's
bail.
no point showing the shortness.
So do we know what Eric's three heart bid means?
It's spade shortness. I checked it right there. So this is that. This is the same auction we were talking about. That was a pretty reasonable idea of just showing diamonds and spade shortness and putting in partners court. And you would just expect a 3-no bid here, right?
Yeah.
Most of the time, just ace king fourth of spades. You're
Yeah, you have nothing. I mean, from a slam point of view.
and this is not too hard to play. It's just going to go diamond hook
Well,
and
slam makes because both finesses work.
mm-hmm. In fact,
And it also needs hearts 4-3, which also
let's
comes good.
let's
Heart,
just take a
heart, heart.
quick dip into the frequency of this hand and see. There's a six diamond player and there's a six diamond player right there. Two out of the
Let's
several
have a look at
matches
this.
going on.
Let's look at the auctions and see how they got to
There,
six
there
diamonds.
is one. This is Petrov. And they're behind by a lot, so they're going to probably be aggressive. Was this
So,
puppet? No, this was diamonds. Okay, and there's spade shortness.
um,
3-no, sign off. Four clubs. Let's dance. Four hearts, six diamonds.
now it's reasonable at imps to think, well, even if we don't belong in slam, I could live with playing five diamonds. That's a death holding playing pairs, but
Let's look
playing
at
it
the other
is
one.
reasonable.
The opponents had some interesting involvement here. Righty overcalled two spades. South got to show diamonds natural, it looks like. And it went 3-no. Four clubs, four diamonds, and off to the races as well.
And the opponents actually made this easier because by bidding and raising spades, South now thought his partner would have less than spades, and so that was that.
Exactly. Made it easier to kind of make that decision to bid six because it's more likely partner has heart stuff and club stuff than spade stuff. Yeah. Very interesting. And honestly, you hate to be sitting in those east-west chairs slash north-south chairs, and anyone there's Gavin right there. He was on a bad side of a slam. See, it's bad luck. All right, let's get back to whatever we're looking at in this board. See if they've managed. Okay, so three spades is we don't know, but probably is that some sort of last trainish type thing here.
I don't know.
Probably. Yeah.
Three
It's
hearts is a
probably,
spade.
yeah.
He just hops the five diamonds now. This would be an exciting end. But I don't know. How can yeah, there it is. Okay. They're just gonna play five diamonds here.
Hmm. No. Is it so clear to play it in the winning way? Let's see how you. Because one option is to win the ace of clubs, cross to the ace of hearts, ace king of spades, pitch to clubs, and then you need just the diamond finesse.
Right. Or do you mean just take a heart finesse right away?
Problem with taking a hard finesse is that if it loses, you're going to need the diamond finesse anyways.
And you're gonna go down.
But what if the hard finesse wins? So that's your problem. So the problem layout is when West has both kings. Yeah, no, so no, right. So it's not really a heart to the ace play, is it? I think it's just
Definitely got off to the best lead for their side. The club lead certainly is much better than the spade they might have considered, even though that makes it.
what about king of clubs ace? I'm trying to think of some justification for an unnatural play. So what about king of clubs ace, heart to the ace, ace king of spades, pitching to hearts?
Now you have three
No,
clubs
you have two
left in your
club
hand,
losers,
two
and you
clubs
have
and
oh
diamond,
no,
and
that's a
possible
disaster.
diamond
That's a
in there.
really, really dumb idea. Yeah, it wasn't a good idea. Yeah, yeah. All right. So that's out.
Mitch, stop trying to prove you're not amazing to Mitch, so he requests you at
I'm
4
waiting for
a.m.
this. I'm waiting for the second. I'm waiting for the second book.
Yeah, shift in the Twitch. Totally agree. Right, passing 5 diamonds did seem kind of obvious with the lengths that hand went to already. You guys agree with
Yeah,
that?
yeah, definitely. I mean,
Well,
North has done a lot
North
of bidding.
Sure,
North has done
exactly,
almost,
exactly.
you know,
There is another vote for your book being amazing in the chat. At least one more vote that I've seen. Hartosh, battling the best. I'm writing a book, Battling the Pest, playing bridge with Rob Barrington, but it comes out later this year.
Battling the Pest sounds like a book about marriage.
There might have been a comment about that as well.
Be written Might be written by my wife.
There may be several versions of that based on
Oh yeah.
taking a while to kind of suss out the prospects here, and not not surprisingly with this hand here, right? He's got a lot of ways he can try to go about this. Luckily, he's only in 5. If you're in 6, it's kind of easier, right?
Well,
You
here in
kind of have to
five,
play for.
5, there's no sweat here. You play a heart to the ace, and or you can play a heart to the ace and play 2 rounds of spades, pitching. Uh, pitch. Let's see.
You
No,
need
actually, it's
you
not
need a
true.
finesse to
No,
win.
no, no. I'm wrong.
You need a finesse to
I've
win.
got
Yeah.
problems.
Yes. Yeah.
It looks like I.
Am I
If
right
you,
though? If we're in 6 on this, it's kind of like you have to play for certain.
you're going to take a heart
Right.
finesse.
You kind of have to play this
Yeah.
in only
You're
one
going to
way. Whereas here in
you're going to
5,
play
you
this
could bamboozle him.
wide
So.
open. You're going to give partner a dirty look and say, like, why did you put me in this terrible contract?
And we're talking about this. The way that this trials is working with these Lovebridge tablets, it's just 2 people per room, basically. So I don't
You
know,
know,
Sartaj, have you done this before? Also, this type of thing where it's just you and your screen mate, and Mitch, you the same or no?
Well, we had a very similar setup at one of the nationals last year, where you were playing on tablets, and there was at one specific table, it was just you and your screen mate. Yeah, yeah.
I
I
found it
quite like
really,
it.
I really liked it too. And the reason why is, first of all, if you press the wrong button in your tablet, there's a mechanism that you can wait 10 seconds or you have to reconfirm the bid. So there's a safety play in that. But more than that, what I like about it is I can socialize with my opponent, again, we all know each other. I can sit there and socialize with my opponent while we're waiting for the opponents to bid in the other room. And it just, I just found it enjoyable and
Dana
relaxing.
Berkowitz echoed your sentiments almost exactly, Mitch. She mentioned the social aspect of it, which was surprising to me and pretty much everyone else listening. It's really interesting.
And the reality is, you find some people are interesting who you don't really know. I mean, you
That's
might play them,
that's
you
exactly
say,
what
"Oh,
she said.
wow,"
That's so funny.
and she's spot on. She's
She,
right, and
it's scary how similar what you just said was exactly what she was saying specifically.
now I'm pals with Ralph Katz, and he has the absolute opposite opinion about this. I want to hold cards the way I've always played bridge, is holding
I know
cards.
players that are along that, but honestly, I think the further we get into this experiment, so to speak, I think the benefits of it will kind of outweigh any problems. So
Yeah, it got started in part to discourage unauthorized information at the
exactly.
table, and um,
So he just
the bottom line is, without delving too much into that topic, I was the chairman of the Anti-Cheating Commission for 2.5 years, and stuff goes on that you can't, that's wrong, and yet there's nothing you can do about it. And
yeah,
this does go a long ways towards alleviating some of those issues.
that pressure. So this is interesting. It went away I
Yeah, I
wasn't
mean,
expecting, right? Club.
yes, and I think that's a very nice play. And
Yeah.
now East is kind of end played, and this is going to be
It's going to be great for him.
academic from here.
Yeah.
But here, Mitch, to your point, now I'm also somebody, I'm not one to socialize. I think if I was I'm a screenmate, I wouldn't say anything, but I really enjoy the unauthorized information element of it. That there were a couple of hands where someone put up a post, and there were a couple of hands that were misdefended by really, really top level partnerships. We're talking, one of the top 10 partnerships in the world. And that sort of stuff just doesn't happen in real life. In real life, I just think, people give off vibes. It's just how bridge is. And if anyone says that they, don't uh, take account of the vibe, or they're some supremely ethical genius, I would just say, take, a long, hard look at yourself, because it's, sometimes you may not even realize it's happening in a subconscious way. Partners getting a bit impatient. Let's say partner leads a spade, you're on play and you're contemplating a heart or a return or a spade return, and just the impatience gives off a vibe, and that vibe is easily felt by their partner. And a lot of that stuff disappears if we're playing in an electronic playing environment. So
You're spot
I
on. You're
I
spot
like
on.
that.
No, I mean, for example, someone could slump in their chair. Someone could inadvertently shake their
Yeah,
head. They don't think they're
yeah,
doing
Totally.
anything unethical, but they're giving you
yeah.
a mountain of information.
Well, if anyone's played a lot of poker, there's so much information just in stuff going around, that that's not verbal. It's just,
Or I tell you
reading.
another thing, it's just tension. Sometimes when you play at a table, the play is going along and there is a tension to the hand. You just know. And when there is tension, that means the contract's at stake, right? But whereas with tablets, the tension is diminished and you don't really know. The other guys could have gone over for a cup of coffee. They'd be just, having a glass of water. And
Yeah.
that element is reduced. I don't think it totally goes away, but it's reduced. And there were a number of spectacular defensive failures in tablet play in the internationals in Chicago, which is why I'm a fan of it. But yeah,
Yeah. Gotcha. So this is just a
Oh, sorry.
does he want to take it or not? Because he can still kind of play ace of hearts, cash a couple spades, pitching clubs, and take a diamond finesse as well.
yeah, but the diamond finesse could be offside. Whoa!
Agreed. He's worried. He doesn't, because East did lead a heart, so he's not necessarily sure where the king of hearts is. Possibly
And
he's
East
shaking the
switched to the
heart.
eight of hearts, which was the highest heart
And now he's
as
shaking his
well.
club.
Yeah, I didn't care for his play, but he is going to go plus.
Yep,
Yeah.
five diamonds making. Going to be a loss of just one for them because they're only making five. If they made six, you would get that
Oh,
chop
I
action.
see. He was worried that the eight of hearts was a doubleton. So even if the heart finesse was working, the third heart would get roughed.
Right.
That's what he.
And now he can't take the diamond finesse because he's lost his entry to dummy. Right.
Yeah, I
Interesting.
see. I think that's what he was thinking. He thought the eight of hearts was a doubleton, and the third heart gets roughed, and they tuck him on the board with a club, and then he never accesses. Yeah.
And
Anyways, that was a lot of fun.
and that
Thanks,
is it.
guys.
Thank you,
I'll
gentlemen.
see
Thank
you
you, guys.
tomorrow.
And thank you all
Yeah.
for watching. And I'll see you both tomorrow, I believe. I think I have Mitch at some point and Sartaj at another. So, gentlemen, thank you so much. And for
Yeah, this
all you
was
guys
good.
watching, thank you.
Rob, thank you. Sartaj, thank you. And
Thanks,
guys,
Mitch.
have a great evening and take care.
You
It was
got it,
really
guys.
enjoyable. Thank you.
Thank you
Bye-bye.
so much.
Bye bye.
Take care.